Guys, the Fed has started. It's the reason why we went up today. I'm talking about QE. They've started and they've given me some hope for the end of the year. Not a lot of hope, but some hope, which is better than no hope. What am I talking about? They started QE and they did repos yesterday night. And as you can see right here, the most recent significant operation was an injection of $13.5 billion in liquidity via an overnight repo agreement on December 1st, 2025. So it was overnight on December 1st, night of December 21st, into day of December 2nd, which is obviously the day that just ended. So at the time of the recording of this video, that's why we went up yesterday night into Tuesday. So that's why we're continuing to go up now. As you notice, both the stock market and the crypto market have actually gone up. Now, obviously, it's not a huge amount of liquidity, but it is something, definitely enough to balance out the yin carry trade. It seems like we are getting stuck around the $93,000 area. Hopefully we can break through and get to 95 and then get to 100 and hold above 100, because I think that is a psychological barrier for crypto. If we actually look at the charts right now, you can see like recently we obviously went down a lot, went up, and then went down again and then went up. So it's kind of a W shape right now, but our high is a little bit higher than the 92 we went up there. We went up, and then the low is a little bit higher as well. So for this very, very like small chunk of time, since basically November, I guess 20th, you could say, around Thanksgiving time, we actually have had higher highs and higher lows. So in the localized zone, we could actually be bracing for a double bottom and hopefully a repump at least up to 106. If we can get above 106 and hold above 106, I believe I have some faith for a bull market. And this repo and the subsequent interest rate cut we're going to get next week, I think gives me a lot of hope. Now, there are people like Kevin O'Leary, who says like an interest rate cut is not likely, but he's just a guy on Shark Tank, and he is not the he is not the Fed chairman. So I don't think what he says really means all that much. So he's not positioning his investments around expectations that the U.S. Federal Reserve will cut rates in December. I think on Polymarkets the chances are like 85%. So I think they will cut rates. Hard to say for sure, but I think the bets are on that they will cut rates. Now, that'll help it as well. But I think like giving some QE, $13.5 billion, Jerome Powell is throwing us a bone. He's giving us a signal that he's ready to start the QE. Maybe not in glorious form, COVID style, but at least some QE to boost up the markets from things like the Japanese carry trade and other events that might happen. Trump might do something crazy with trade again, or he might like blow up some more boats in Venezuela. Who knows? He might like land some troops there. I don't really know. But that shouldn't affect the economy too much. But injecting liquidity directly into the market, that should get a couple more buys. Also, Trump also announced that Kevin Hassett is going to be the next Fed chairman. Well, he hasn't announced it, but he's suggesting or hinting at it. And he's not really too stealthy about this. So I do believe Hassett is going to be the next Fed chairman. And of course, Hassett is going to be a yes guy for Trump. Trump has said he wants 1% interest rates and he wants a stimulus, $2,000 stimulus. Now, for him, technically it's from the tariffs, but realistically, he's just going to print it because a lot of the tariff stuff, pretty much all of it's going to have to go to like farmers and other industries that are actually hurt by the tariffs. But it doesn't really matter if he prints it or not. If we get the $2,000, that'll actually help us pump the market too. It's going to result in inflation afterwards, but it actually should pump the markets, and that might be enough to give us a bull run. If Kevin Hassett, he's also going to do more repos, which will inject even more QE and more money into the market. So that's what we're actually looking at this particular moment, folks. Injection of more money into the market, basically more repos and stimulus and lower rates. So despite the fact that people are being laid off, and I think Jerome Powell's playing along because he's seeing the labor reports that we're not seeing, and I don't think they're good. Really don't think they're good at all. And I think like starting next year at the very beginning, we're going to see more layoffs due to like tariff induced stuff. So he's going to have to cut rates some more and maybe even do more repos to keep the money afloat. And that'll go into hyperdrive when Kevin Hassett takes over. Of course, he wants the $2,000 stimulus to buy votes right before election day. The special Tennessee election was a lot closer than expected. That was an R plus 24 district in 2024 elections. It became R plus 8 only. So that's like a 16-point swing to the other side. They won, but not nearly by the margins that they expected it to. So he's getting a little bit nervous. Like a lot of the special elections are basically swinging like double digits in the other way. Some competitive elections were not that competitive at all. And some elections that weren't supposed to be competitive actually became somewhat competitive. So they're kind of like really trying to brace, and they're really going to try to buy some votes next year. So we're almost sure to get the $2,000 at this point. I know some of you are saying that we're not, but I'm pretty sure we actually are. And that combined with a 1% interest rate, if we get it, and a lot of repos, hopefully, that means we get inflation later, but at least we could actually get a pump. So I'm hoping the bear market won't be as long this time before we get a pump, or hopefully we've already reached the bottom, and this repo and Jerome Powell's actions lately have actually gotten me a lot more excited. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.